here by my studio. And today we are dedicating the entire show to elections in Nigeria. What is happening on the ground? What exactly is the embassy here in Ghana even saying? People in Ghana, even a Pan-Africanist who is in the person of Professor Lumumba, will also be talking to him to find out what exactly it means as Nigeria goes to the polls tomorrow, February 25, 2023. I am Bright Nana Kwesi Amani, and this is Good Afternoon Ghana. When we come back from this break, the show will begin. Stay with us. Right, and you're welcome back to Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro TV in Ghana. And we are talking Nigeria going to the polls tomorrow, the 25th of February 2023. Who becomes the next president after Muhammadu Buhari, who says that he's done a lot to ensure that the country it's on 8 feet concerning security, the economy, and a lot more. Let's now talk about the biggest names who are leading this year's election. And there are about 18 of them leading the contest. But only 4 names are coming up as the biggest names. Who are these persons? And you're going to see the slides on your video very soon. And the first person is Rabiu Kwankwaso, who is 66 years of age. He is the leader and representative of the new Nigerian People's Party, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives from 1992 to 1993. He's also the governor of Kano State back in 1999 to 2003 and also 2011 to 2015. His policies for this election, so after elections, will focus on education and infrastructure. The second one here this afternoon is the man whose name is being chanted by every single youth in Nigeria. Just so you know, 40% of Nigeria's electorate are youth below the age of 40 years, and Peter Obi seems to be the favor for them. And he is leading the Labour Party, the youngest ever chairman of a Nigerian bank, Fidelity Bank. He was the governor of Anambra State from 2006 to 2007, and also continued from 2007 to 2010, and also from 2010 to 2014. His policies are to appoint special prosecutor for corruption, shift, and consumption to production of economy. Peter will be there, 61 years of age. The next person here this afternoon we are looking at after Peter Obi is all right, and we're still live here on Metro TV. We are trying to get you all the names of persons who are actually leading the chart when it comes to Nigeria's election. We've already told you about Rabiu, who's 61 years of age, and now Peter Obi, who seems to be the name top in the chart, and even the polls that have been done in Nigeria. According to polls in Nigeria, he's actually leading. Will that transmit into votes come tomorrow, the 25th of February, as Nigeria goes to the polls, not knowing that Nigerians in other countries will also be voting via online. They are also going to the vote as well via online. The third person this afternoon we are talking about is Bola Tinubu, who is 70 years of age, representing the All Progressive Congress. He is a senator. He was a senator from 1992 to 1993, governor of Lagos from 1999 to 2007. His policies, when voted for, will focus on job creation, industrial revolution, and tackling of insecurities in Nigeria. One of the biggest deciders going into election is insecurity, and that is one of his targets when voted for as president, the tackling of insecurities. Atiku Abubakar is 76 years of age, representing the People's Democratic Party. He was elected governor of Adamawa State in 1999. He was the vice president of Nigeria from 1999 to 2007. His policies, when voted for, will focus on reuniting Nigeria, tackling insecurity, and also the creation of jobs. And it looks like insecurity and the management of the economy, which focus on jobs in Nigeria, are the main 2 things leading the campaign for all these persons, the 18 numbers of persons who are going to elections. But these are just 4 names the leading names going into the elections. Let's now bring in more on what is happening in Nigeria. Let's now talk about figures. What are the polls saying in Nigeria? This is a story put together by the news team. What exactly are the figures like according to the polls? Take a look at this. Hello, test mic 1 2.
Each proposing to vote for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who are both tied in second place. Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso was a distant fourth with 3% of voters proposing to vote for him. Peter Obi's 8 percentage points lead at this early stage is significant but not sufficient to separate him completely from a leading pack of candidates. Undecided voters and those who prefer not to review their preferred candidates add up to a whopping 32% and 15% respectively. The gender split of undecided voters shows that 39% of women are undecided versus 27% of male voters. The percentage of registered voters is as follows in each of the zones: 99% in the northeast, 90% in the south-south, the north-central, and the northwest respectively. The lowest registered voter percentages were in the southeast with 88%, in the southwest with 85%. When asked if respondents were aware of the various candidates vying for the presidency, data gathered show that 99% of the respondents were aware of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC, 98% were aware of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, 95% were aware of Peter Obi of LP, and 74% were aware of Dr. Rabiu Kwankwaso of the NNP. All other candidates scored below 55% in terms of name recognition. Furthermore, the data summarizes top 5 reasons why voters are more inclined to vote in the forthcoming elections. These include the need to tackle insecurity, 45%, the economy, 20%, education, 9%, unemployment, 7%, and poverty alleviation, 4%. 46% of the respondents would love to see their preferred presidential candidates participate in a televised interview or debate, with the interview or debates spanning across topics like their party manifestos, issues of security, economy, education, job creation, healthcare, and agriculture, amongst others. It is worthy of note that 69% of those aged 18 to 25, 76% of those aged 26 to 35, 77% of those aged 36 to 45, 87% of those aged 46 to 60, and 89% of those aged 61 plus responded saying that they would definitely vote in the coming elections. The age groups that expressed the greatest willingness to vote were those between 46 to 60 years and 61 plus years. On average, the poll shows that almost 8 in 10 registered voters are absolutely certain that they will be voting in the next presidential election. If they stay committed, then we could witness a huge turnout in the February 2023 elections. Furthermore, Peter Obi led the pack in virtually all the age categories. That is, his leadership was not confined to the youth only. While these poll results show some significant trends, it is key to note that the battle ahead lies in the hands of the undecided or swing voters. As it appears, they would ultimately decide which candidate takes the lead to emerge as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the 2023 presidential elections.
Let's also talk about the decider for Nigerians who are going to be casting their vote tomorrow. Now, one is insecurity. The second is the economy. Here's a report.
Parts of the north and a separatist insurgency in the southeast. Two of the most shocking cases last year were a mass shooting at a Catholic church in Owo and the storming by gunmen of a passenger train in which dozens of people were killed and kidnapped. Peter Obi's supporters, who appear to be younger Nigerians, are vocal on social media. President Buhari says he has fulfilled his promise to frontally and courageously tackle terrorism, but many Nigerians feel the country is still not safe.
There's been obviously concerns, political parties, even the electorate themselves, with the recent issue about the scarcity of Naira notes, the recent, monetary policy by the Central Bank of Nigeria to withdraw existing Naira notes of denomination of 500 and 1,000 Naira and then replace with new Naira notes, has thrown the system into disarray. There's a lot of chaos, concerns about the logistics and how it would hamper INEC's ability to conduct elections on Saturday. But, the central bank has assured INEC that it would make all the cash it wants available to it. So everybody is sitting, we all are waiting to see how it turns out. But like I said, depending on who you ask, you get, different opinions as to the preparedness of INEC and then the government to conduct elections on Saturday.
The economy is another area of concern to many. In 2022, inflation rose for 10 months in a row, just dipping to 21.3% according to the latest figures released last month. The rising cost of living has left many families struggling to make ends meet, with local media describing the situation as dire. Unemployment is also a major problem, leaving many graduates fearful that they may not find work even after years of university study. Latest figures from the country's National Bureau of Statistics show that 33% of the population is unemployed, jumping to 42.5% for younger adults. Despite being a major oil producer, 4 out of 10 Nigerians live below the poverty line and lack education and access to basic infrastructure such as electricity, safe drinking water, and improved sanitation, according to the World Bank. Many of the candidates have put these issues at the center of their campaigns, but these problems have been mounting for several years, leaving some Nigerians skeptical about whether whoever wins the election will actually be able to fix them. Despite the large number of registered voters, that is 93.5 million, concerns persist about apathy and how many people will actually show up on the day to cast their ballot. With almost 40% of registered voters under 34 years, the vote has been called the election of young people by Elections Chief Mahmood Yakubu.
And it doesn't look like the elections for Nigerians belong to Nigerians only, since Nigeria is the biggest economy in the entire Africa. And when anything goes wrong, it will affect the economy of Africa, especially West Africa. Here is Pan-Africanist Patrick Lumumba, who believes that if anything goes wrong in Nigeria, Africa is doomed.
I believe Nigerians will have the opportunity of making a clear statement that they want a united Nigeria. They want a Nigeria that will play its leading role in the continent of Africa. They want a Nigeria that is united in our diversity. They want a Nigeria where people are judged by the content of their character, not by their ethnicity or religious affiliation. And I hope that that decision will be made on Saturday, the 25th day of the month of February this year. Pray for them, and I hope that they'll do the right thing. Because if they don't, then Africa will be the poorer. How does a wound on your toe affect your body? Nigeria is a part of Africa. She's the most populous nation in the continent of Africa, the largest economy in the continent of Africa. If the elections do not lead to peace and stability, then Africa is the poor. And I don't think that that is a debatable issue. If Nigeria is unstable today, this West Africa will be unstable. And therefore, it is important that they have an election that is credible, that they retain their stability for the benefit of the people of Nigeria and the benefit of the people of Africa and the world by extension.
All right, and I'm not doing this alone. I've been joined on Zoom by two persons, one from Ghana and another from Nigeria. But before I introduce them to you, let me tell you that Comrade Martin is a Nigerian political analyst and also a journalist, and Fidel is a Ghanaian international relations expert and also political science analyst. They are both on Zoom, but for now we are talking to Comrade Martin, who is currently in Nigeria and have been following proceedings, especially been following INEC and all their gatherings and doings to ensure that the election is going well. Comrade Martins, good afternoon to you and welcome to Metro TV.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Great. You've been following election proceedings in Nigeria. You've listened to Pan-Africanist Patrick Lumumba say that if anything goes wrong in Nigeria, Africa is doomed. Is Nigeria ready to make sure that they secure Africa with good prospects and good results for the people of Nigeria as well?
If you ask me, we are 100% ready because the electoral body, INEC, is ready, the voters are ready, the political parties are ready, the politicians themselves are ready, young persons, especially those who will determine the future of this country, are super ready. So, yes, we are ready.
I want to find out, I should believe that by now observers might have arrived in the country. What are they saying? Are they optimistic that we are to record a free and fair elections?
Well, I have been following a lot of media conferences, the European Union Commission, the American Embassy, the United Nations Embassy, of course, the United Kingdom Embassy, UK, and so many foreign countries and the ambassadors have been holding meetings and, of course, speaking to Nigerians on different media platforms. And they have actually expressed satisfaction with what is on the ground. Notwithstanding, we have pockets of cases of killings of candidates across Nigeria. The latest is actually what happened to the senatorial candidate for Labour Party in Enugu State, who was murdered, and of course other persons have been injured, attacks in Cross River State, and all of those areas. We've had some pockets of conflicts coming in. But I think that in all, if you put together what we have so far, we have a pass mark. We can actually say that the atmosphere is encouraging, is peaceful. And importantly, why I can be so sure to say that there is peace in the country at the moment is because the president, Muhammadu Buhari himself, has actually held meetings with the security chiefs, and he has told them exactly what he wants to see: a peaceful, free, credible election like no other that has happened since the democratic dispensation in Nigeria. And I'm very sure that the military and, of course, the police who have been mobilized and deployed across the country actually understand the enormity of what that statement means, and they will do the needful. So we are in for a great election. We're in for a great peaceful election. We're in for an election that people's vote will count, and of course will count because the right thing is done. And majorly as well, there is one, of course, who have been in Finland, Simon Ekpa, who has been issuing a sit-at-home order to the southeastern people not to vote. And he was actually called to order by the Finnish government, and asked him to retract his statement and, of course, come back and apologize and withdraw that statement. He was given 7 days ultimatum to do that. He didn't do that. And, of course, in the course of this week, he was arrested in Finland. And that, of course, is creating a lot of our peaceful atmosphere where he comes from in the southeast, where Peter Obi is coming from, where people were just agitated because of the statement he was issuing to his members. And we have seen that the citizens, the indigents of those states themselves, have actually taken that in their hands. They have refused to sit at home. They have called everyone to come out and vote. And of course, this is a plot to say that, yes, peace is going on in Nigeria ahead of the election that just a few hours from now.
Comrade, let me stay with you a bit longer. Now, over 90 million voters will be going to the polls to vote for a new president. Now, the youth has the biggest number. More than 33 million registered youths will be going to the polls. And it looks like these young people are happy because a certain Peter Obi is young and they believe in him. What should we be expecting?
Yes, I must say that for the very first time since 1999, I have been a part of the election since 1999, either as a voter or as an analyst on radio or as a journalist on the field covering the election. This is one of a kind, I must say. Before now, youth were complacent. Most of them will even connive to make sure the process is not peaceful. Most of them would take money and sit at home. Some will sell their voter card and all of those. Most of them will refuse to go and register or even collect their voter card to come and vote. But this is a different one. People closed down their shops across the nation. People slept in voters, in INEC offices in order to either register or collect their votes. And these are young people. All across the streets of Nigeria, young people are mobilizing campaigns without anybody funding them. They have refused to collect money from those who were sponsoring them just to make sure that the right thing is done. So this is going to be a different election because young persons are at the forefront of making the change that we have been clamoring for. And let me tell you something. The trigger of this is the outcome of the NSAS protest that happened sometimes last year or more than a year now. And that, of course, was a wake-up call to young people that, look, if we come together and do something, there can be a change. So they refuse to sit down. They have taken up the mantle of leadership. They want to believe that when someone like Peter Obi, for instance, in fact, I must tell you that 90% of those young persons who registered, INEC has it that 10 million people between the age of 18 to 34 registered. And these are young persons, and they are clamoring for a president that will definitely change the narrative for the young people. And I think that that is a wake-up call. This is going to be a different one. The youth are out there to do the right thing. They are not just talking on social media. If anybody thinks that, yes, we are just talking on social media, like I listen to some of the politicians who do not actually understand the political landscape in Nigeria, saying that a certain candidate who has a young population behind him, it was just a mere propaganda on social media. That narrative will change, and it has changed. And those who believe that that's just a mere social media campaign, they are going to be taken aback, because I can tell you across Nigeria today, I have seen droves of Nigerian young people traveling from one place to another just to go and cast their vote, because most of them registered outside their state of origin or their residence where they are. Some are leaving school thanks to NUC that actually called for university to close down schools so that young persons can go and vote. So it's a very big pathmark for the young people. Right. So we are going to see that trickle down into the result of the election, because somebody is going to have the population of the young persons behind him after the election, and that will definitely count. And that could be the trigger to that Nigeria that we all clamor for. And we see one person with that characteristics, and that's why you see the young persons are out there. Like never before, I can assure you, Nigerian young persons have never believed any politicians like they believe one of their role. Not because he's a young person, but because he has the youth at heart, and his policies are believable and all of those. We have seen his track record, we have seen his antecedent, we have seen what he's doing, we have seen the acceptance across the globe, and of course we want to make sure that we institute that Nigeria. We're not just doing it for Nigeria, we're doing it for West Africa, we're doing it for Africa.
All right, Comrade Martin there joining us all the way from Nigeria, talking to us about what exactly it looks like the youth forms the bigger number of registered voters in Nigeria, and it looks like they are all hailing Peter Obi. But what exactly? Can we see that? Fear delegates, an interesting one there that happened here in Ghana. But then let's talk about some security issues. And Fidel Amache is the man to talk to when it comes to securities in Africa and even in some parts of the world. Fidel, good afternoon, welcome to Good Afternoon Ghana. Now, Nigeria is at the center of electing a new president. 4 names are up, but sadly, issues are popping up. About 2 days ago, a Senate was shot dead and body bent. News recorded several tabs. His followers were also shot and all that. Quite worrying and scary. Are we sure that there will be security consciousness and act in the incoming elections that will be happening tomorrow, the 25th of February?
Thank you very much, and I would like to extend my greetings to your cherished viewers. First of all, as my previous speakers have said, Nigeria is very critical when it comes to the security and the stability of the continent. With over 200 million people, Nigeria also lies between the Central African zone and Western Africa. So when it comes to West Africa, we have Nigeria in the south eastern border to Central Africa. It also links to North Africa through Chad and Niger. So it is very critical. But what have you seen in the past close to 2 decades? We've had Boko Haram, and currently we have ISIS West African Province. ISIS West African Province operating very vigorously in the northeastern corner of the country. Now, in as much as we have been reassured of the domestic peace that is generally happening, except for the attack or the killing of the senator or the senatorial candidate, we see that we should expect that these terrorists or extremists would target some polling stations or some areas that they feel that they would like to use to make a statement that despite what people think it seems to be the stability of the country, there is no stability, and they are still potent enough to unleash some terror in the country.
Now, Fidel, should we be scared as Africans? I mean, Nigeria is the biggest economy. And like we heard Patrick Lumumba say, if anything goes wrong, the entire Africa is doomed. Should we be scared? Per what you just told us.
I wouldn't say we should be scared. From where I stand, I see the election going through, but we cannot anticipate zero security. Zero security. That is a security threat. We are going to experience some threats somewhere. We have banditry in the northwest. We have terrorism in the northeast. We still have even piracy in the coast, the Bight of Biafra and other places on the Atlantic coast from Nigeria. We also have the south and the southeast separatists still being active in the country. So I think that there's supposed to be some serious security measures. We have heard that President Buhari, the outgoing president, has met his security couples. Meeting them is one thing, and ensuring that there's security on the ground is another. One other thing is that the voters should not only leave the security situation to the military, they should also be vigilant. When they see something, they should talk about it, so that security measures will be more proactive than reactive. And when that is done, I think that the election will go on largely peacefully, so that they have a positive outcome. Other than that, it will likely destabilize the region, especially the Lake Chad Basin, where we have Chad, Cameroon, Niger, and Nigeria, northeastern Nigeria itself. So I think that largely it is going to be peaceful, but we should expect some incidents as it goes on.
Now, Fidel, there's also the worry that internet connections will be cut, maybe beginning tonight, until results or elections or casting of votes is over. Should this happen? And if it should, how should it be managed? And if it shouldn't, what exactly should be done to ensure that the spread of false information is tackled?
Well. I don't see how internet will disrupt the choosing of a president of the Federal Republic of Ghana, or of Nigeria, sorry. Now, we all anticipate that people will just go and join a queue and vote, then monitor how the elections will be, but the ballots will be counted, so that the winner is declared. That is all we want. I mean, cutting internet will not solve the problem. In fact, if we want security to be well assured in the country, then internet must be connected so that when people see something, they can at least share. When people, notice certain things, they can share for others to be vigilant and to be alert and see how the security situation can be tackled. In fact, the cutting of the internet shows that Nigeria still remains a typical third world country, and that is not supposed to be the case. The largest economy on the continent should not behave like some failed states when it is, running an election. It should be open for people to at least share ideas. People should share election results and things like that. That will show that Africa has moved from the 20th century issues to the 21st century world.
Now, you talk of opening it up for people to be able to share ideas and make sure that the entire world gets to know what is happening in Nigeria. But would that also, it also forms part of the spread of false information sometimes, where we can see a political party declaring itself as a winner on social media. Some even tend to change their names on Twitter as Office of the President and all that. Isn't that part of misinformation or people who are not in Nigeria getting the wrong information to consume?
That is the problem with us in Africa. We had anticipated this. In every election, there will be false news, false information, manipulations on the internet, and the likes. But do you wait till it's time for you to cut the internet? No. You put down measures that, look, the electoral body is the only legitimate body to declare elections. So if that is what I'm following, then, what I have to rely on are the polling station agents and other vigilant citizens who will make sure that the right ballots are counted and the right person declared winner. Other than that, we will just subject everything to, in fact, the more you cut the internet, the more you make the system opaque. And so you put down measures. We saw US elections being interfered with through the internet. We saw other elections around the world. We should have put on measures. We knew that Nigeria was going to have an election in February 2023. Why do we sit and then come back at the latter part and claim insecurity coming from the internet? No, that is not good. We must stop that in Africa. We must stop that. This election is also going to be based on the youth. The youth are going to be the determinants of these elections. And when you talk about the internet, it's with the youth. So by shutting it down, you are actually shutting the youth down. And some of these things are not good signs.
Now, let's talk about Ecowas, AU. What should they be targeting or doing at this particular point in time to ensure that, Africa records a good election with Nigeria?
Frankly, my brother, when we talk about Ecowas and AU, vis-a-vis Nigeria, there's little they can do. And that is the fact. Unlike in 2017, when Yahya Jammeh refused to go, and Ghana, Nigeria, and other regional powers like Senegal went into Gambia to eject him from office, and he had to resign and go on an exile. When it comes to Nigeria, nothing of that sort can happen. We can only rely on the security forces of Nigeria and the police service of Nigeria, and again, other federal agencies, as well as the political class, to make this election peaceful. When it comes to Nigeria, Nigeria is such a giant that when after this election, ECOWAS will just have to endorse the result that will come from the legitimate and independent electoral body, and AU will do same. Even the EU will do same, and you and I know this. So what we must push is the domestic actors, the president, sitting president, the vice president, the security apparatus, the governors, sitting governors, incumbent governors. These are the people we have to rely on for security and a credible election. When it comes to Nigeria, as I will repeat again, AU and ECOWAS can only be advisory and can only urge for peace and may not be able to do so much on the ground.
All right, Fidel, kindly hang in there for me. Let me go back to Comrade Martin, who is back on Zoom, still joining us here on Good Afternoon Ghana from Nigeria. And we are talking about Nigeria's election come February 25 tomorrow. Comrade, from now until elections are held or even results are announced, what will be happening in Nigeria?
Well, Charles, Bryce, thank you again. Fidel has said a lot of things that I would love to react to, but then let me go straight to your question. One important thing that is happening in Nigeria is underground awareness. Because as you know, the officially campaigns have actually stopped by political parties and candidates. So it's underground lobbying. And one thing that is very common here is the fact that people are talking to people, text messaging, WhatsApp chat. I have received over 100 and something of them from different platforms, known and unknown, both Facebook and the rest of them, suing for peace. And the next thing again that is happening is that people are calling for complete participation. They are telling people to vote and make sure that when you vote, vote the right candidate. A lot of social media are gone with different things. Either this one is talking about why you should not vote this party and all of that. So it's been phone calls, meetings, networkings, and the rest of them. That's what is happening as we speak to you in Nigeria. And again, one thing that is common is that persons are traveling a lot this day because some of them who are traveling to vote outside their places of residence are actually also on the move. It's a busy day today in Nigeria across the north, south, east, and west of the country. But I must say that we should allay ourselves the fears that the election may not be peaceful. One thing that gives me the confidence more than anything is the fact that the sitting president, one of the best things to do is that you have a sitting president supporting a free and fair election. This was not before in the 8 years that he was in power. Things were not like this. And so he has actually admonished everybody and has pledged that this election is going to be free and fair. Once the president is not taking side, he wants a peaceful.
All right. Yeah, I think we've lost coverage there again. Issues of the internet. Hope that is not being catched and all that. But then Fidel, I need your last submission before I wrap up with you right now, Fidel. So quickly, going into this, what last advice are you giving Nigerians before the elections are held tomorrow, the 25th of February? Quickly.
Yeah, Nigeria, with its economy, its population, is a rising giant, and I've always advocated that Africa must not pretend like all countries are equal. We should allow the giants to pull the smaller ones along, just like Germany, Italy, France, and other countries do in the European Union. We should allow the bigger ones to pull the smaller ones, like Egypt, DRC, Ethiopia, Kenya, and others will carry the young ones. And Nigeria is a big brother in Africa. We urge that they should have a free and fair elections, and whoever wins, he should be handed over to. And peacefully, there should be peaceful transfer of power without any malice, without any chaos, so that the democracy, that the largest democracy on the continent will continue to be stable for others to follow. That is my piece of advice. And the youth should go out there and vote massively.
All right, Fidel, thank you so much for your time there this afternoon on Good Afternoon Ghana. And Fidel Amache is an international expert and also a security analyst. And he's joined us on Zoom from Ghana. And we're also earlier joined by Comrade Martin. We have been speaking with some Nigerians here in Accra at SECO. We'll tell you what they've been saying after this break. So stay with us. We'll be back with more. Welcome back. You're still watching Good Afternoon Ghana here on Metro TV. So we've been speaking to some Nigerians who are here in Ghana about the expectations, and this is what they've been saying.
Nigerians will go to the polls tomorrow, Saturday, February 25th, to elect their next president, the outgoing president, Muhammadu Buhari, who has been in office for almost 8 years, says he has fulfilled his promise to frontally and courageously tackle terrorism. Meanwhile, many Nigerians are unhappy with the state of affairs under his administration, and they are itching to elect a new leader who is result-driven and action-oriented. But who is this leader going to be? Well, we are yet to know, and I am here at SECO, Tiptoe Lane in Accra, and I will be speaking to some Nigerian nationals here to know what the expectations are concerning the upcoming election.
I pray that it goes well, but what I'm suggesting is that let the government bring more military that will guide people a lot. Let them bring more soldiers, police, that will make sure that this election goes successful. And they should not do anything partiality. They should not do anything that will make this election be in fight. Let them make sure that they guide people that are going to vote, because some people are very afraid. More especially, they should make sure that they guide in East. People who are talking about they want Biafra. So now that our brother is coming out, P2B, Atiku, and so on, they are coming. They have to allow this election to go peacefully before we now talk about Biafra. So we pray that the government should bring more military, bring more soldiers, bring more people that will make sure that this election go peacefully.
I don't support any candidates. They will fail the country. If you give it the first, Atiku, give it Tinubu, give it P2B, all is the same story we hear. So they are bullshit. I don't support any three of them. Administration is nonsense. What I mean that they can't get good positive result at the end of the day. It's the same story we hear. The same story we hear in 1992 is the same story we hear today. If any of them win, it's the same story. They can't make a change in the country.
We are hoping for P2B, because Nigeria as a whole, we are tired for all this, our old people. We need a young people to win the elections. Like P2B, we hope on P2B. We pray for peace, so that let it be a peaceful election, so that everything will successfully, no fight, no killing, so that we all will be in peaceful way.
My prayer is that let us vote in a peaceful. I don't want any violence. You see? So God willing, tomorrow P2B will win. All I have to say, P2B will win. So it's our man.
We are expecting peaceful and credible election from Nigerians. I'm a Nigerian too. So if like I have the opportunity to vote, I could have voted, but I won't vote. But my prayers to them, let them to do peaceful election in Nigeria.
Well, there are 18 candidates who are hoping to take over from the outgoing president, Muhammadu Buhari, but only 3 are considered to be top contenders. Ekia Babio, Metro News, Circle.
Let's still stay here in Ghana, but still talk about Nigeria and the king of the Igbo community here in Ghana. He has been speaking, wishing Nigerians well. Here he is.
Every Nigerian today really need a positive change that will bring this country back to her stand. As a king, I'm not a partisan person, but I'm a progressive person. I wish Nigeria the best, and I know the Lord will make the election free and fair. I also pray that there will never be any violence through the election. Any man or woman that will cause violence through the election, my prayer is God to arrest that man or woman, for everybody to be calm and do the needful by voting in somebody that will make Nigeria come back to her stand. I wish my country, Nigeria, peaceful election. It is my prayers that the Lord, by his mercy, will choose a better leader that will lead Nigeria so that this great nation will stand back again on her feet. The president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, always tell every Nigerian to vote your conscience and vote who you think and know that will make the country a great nation.
And there you have it. Here for Metro TV, and I believe the entire country here in Ghana are wishing Nigerians well as they go to the polls tomorrow to elect a new president and some senators as well. And this has been Good Afternoon Ghana. I am Bryce Nanakwesi Amenin. Have a good afternoon.